this assessment, we're asked to tell how propanamide and N,N-diethyl propanamide will differ in their IR and proton NMR spectra. Let's start with IR. If you think about the IR spectrum in both of them are going to have a carbon-oxygen double bond, a band around 1715, probably more like 1685, given that they're amides. So they'll be the same in that regard. The biggest difference between the two is that in propanamide, we would expect to see an NH stretch. Because it's an amide, we're going to expect that to be a relatively broad, because it can hydrogen bond, a broader stretch around maybe 3,300 reciprocal centimeters. And if the resolution is good enough, we might see the symmetric and asymmetric stretch of that NH2. So a 3,300 band in the IR should indicate propanamide. In diethyl propanamide, lacking those NH bonds will not have that. So the one difference in the IR is we would expect to see this really broad band around 3,300 for propanamide. If we don't have that band, then the molecule is N,N-diethyl propanamide. The answer to the proton NMR question is maybe even a little more straightforward. We're going to have ethyl groups attached to the nitrogen. And in fact, we might see two different ethyl groups because of restricted rotation around that nitrogen bond. So if we look, both of the molecules are going to have this ethyl group present, but the diethyl propanamide will have an extra ethyl group here and here. Again, there's restricted rotation around the double bond, so each of these ethyl groups, depending on the resolution of the spectrometer, might show up as individual ethyl groups. What's that going to look like? We're going to see a 2-carbon quartet and a 3-carbon triplet, or a 3-hydrogen, a 2-hydrogen quartet and a 3-hydrogen triplet, and possibly see that twice. If we're thinking about chemical shift, where we would expect this to be, being bound to an electronegative atom, this might be around 2.2, so we'll draw in our chemical shift values there. We would expect to see an ethyl group or two, an extra ethyl group or two in the structure of N,N-diethyl propanamide that's not present in propanamide itself.